Affordable smartphones have come a long way, and the TCL 10L is yet another testament to that statement. So with that in mind, this is our review of the ultra affordable TCL 10L. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Google on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and enable notifications with the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. If you cast your minds back, you'll remember we already spent some time with the slightly more expensive TCL 10 Pro, which is a solid competitor to the likes of the Pixel 3a and iPhone SE. However, at under $300, the 10L is not aimed at that same market. It feels like we're constantly saying that the budget space is hotting up, but with so many new releases, it really does feel like a constantly shifting sands with a few firm patches of exceptionally priced hardware, of which we still think on the Android side, the Pixel 3a remains the gold standard. Back to the matter at hand though, and on one area the TCL 10L instantly feels budget is in the design. Unlike the TCL 10 Pro, the 10L is dominated by polycarbonate, and while that isn't a bad thing, it is instantly noticeable. However, it does feel densely packed, and most importantly not hollow to the touch. There is no visible flex in the body, which is always a massive bonus on such a cheap device. You would definitely not confuse the TCL 10L with a premium smartphone. The telltale glossy finish and plastic frame really do give it away from the outset. Although that said, as a first effort, heck, this is an impressive device. Not many new smartphone brands enter the market at all, let alone with a pretty solid package. The TCL 10L differentiates itself from the growing pack of excellent affordable Android phones as it instantly stands out thanks to the camera visor at the rear back panel. The glossy pearl white colour isn't one that I would instantly choose, but it is fine enough. At the sides, the button placement is pretty much what you'd expect. There is a headphone port up top too, which is always a nice addition, while there is also a dedicated quick launch button on the left side of the chassis. This is disabled as standard but can be activated to enable things like the display enhancements, Google Assistant, camera and camera modes, plus launch into apps or system settings. This might prove useful, but would be far more essential if you could just fully customize the options. However, the options are pretty good from the get-go. TCL of course has a rich recent history with affordable TVs and displays, so as you'd sort of expect, the Full HD Plus display at the front is a real eye-catcher. There are not a great deal of sub $300 smartphones coming with 1080p displays, so this is of course a massive selling point. It is a decent LCD panel that even includes adaptive display colours, which is essentially a copycat of the True Tone or ambient EQ you'll find on the iPhone or Pixel 4 series. To add to that, the display also comes with a punch hole notch, which does have some slight shadowing. It is noticeable at lower brightnesses, which is another area that the display doesn't quite stack up against the competition at higher price points. With a 450 nit peak brightness, you may have some difficulties viewing the TCL 10L display in bright sunlight. Other notables are the inclusion of NFC for wireless payments, plus a rear capacitive fingerprint sensor. For just $250, you get a heck of a lot of phone hardware here. In terms of software, the TCL 10L comes with Android 10 pre-installed, which is both a blessing and a curse in many ways. This is a heavy alteration of what we often consider stock Android. Is it the worst third-party skin? Well, I'd have to say no, but it does have some little quirks and problems here and there. Like the 10 Pro, the 10L is only slated as well to get one major OS upgrade. While I think that is still massively frustrating, it isn't a complete deal breaker given the entry pricing. You'll still get bi-monthly updates for security patches and whatnot, at least for 24 months of owning this device though. I can't wholeheartedly condemn this, but I can't say it's a good thing in the grand scheme of things. Although that said, inside this smartphone you get a Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 chipset, which is paired with 6GB of RAM. Those are slightly above what I would call modest. It's not a bad thing by any stretch. I have noticed though the odd minor slowdown, but for the most part, if you're sticking to sending SMS messages, browsing the web, or watching video on Netflix or YouTube, even process-intensive games manage to chug along nicely. The thing that will strike most people though is how fluid this phone is at just under $300. It doesn't feel that long ago that you'd have a truly terrible experience on a device this cheap, and that isn't the case though with the TCL 10L. Cheap smartphones are often paired with larger batteries, and the TCL 10L is thoroughly equipped to last throughout even the busiest of days. While the 4000 mAh cell is by no means the largest, it is helped by the efficient chipset. I'm not sat looking at my smartphone display for hours at a time, but I still managed 2 days on a single charge multiple times. Screen on time would vary depending on what I happen to be doing during a day, but 5 hours of screen on time in a single day with plenty of headroom left over was a common experience. Like the TCL 10 Pro, the 10L does come with 4 rear-facing cameras for you to sink your teeth into. They're probably what you'd expect though for a low-cost smartphone. You can get some pretty impressive results in good lighting, but most of the time photos can be pretty mixed. Dynamic range is average at best. Low-light photos are a similar mix of muddy, pixelated grunge. Overall though, the flexibility here is pretty good for the pricing. I wouldn't be too frustrated, but it is important to have tempered expectations from a smartphone that costs just $250. So at just $250, you get a heck of a lot of smartphone for that entry price. Of course, we're not the first to say it, but cheap smartphones are getting good, and good smartphones are getting really cheap. That is certainly true of the TCL 10L. As a backup or a smartphone for a friend or relative, the TCL 10L really is a lot of smartphone for under $300. So long as you aren't going in expecting anything close to flagship level performance, then I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at just how good the 10L actually is. I'm still of the opinion that upping your budget ever so slightly will net you the far better Pixel 3a, but if your budget is tight, then the TCL 10L is still very easy to recommend. With that said, if you have any opinions of your own or you're interested in picking up the 10L, then let us know your questions or comments in the comments section down below. But until the next time, this is Damon with 9to5Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.